So first of all, before we begin, I would love to learn from you what the father figures in your life transferred to you. Whether it's a quality, trait, something that they always lived by. Let me know in the comment section. Even when you're watching the replay, I always go back and read the comments because that's what's going to help the video perform better and reach more people. So something that my father instilled in me is loyalty. And that's what our theme is today. He had the same friends for years. The hairdresser, his laundry guy. I mean, literally, he was the kind of person that he was very loyal. And that's one of the things that is utmost important to me. I trust Evan with all my heart. If you're on my top 5, I trust you with my loyalty. And I've got a great quote. A loyalty is more than a word. It's the way of life. Good one, right? So as you know from catching these classes, we have started to, I don't know what the right terminology is, but grow our butterflies, right? We've gotten a plant that transferred into caterpillars that laid their little chrysalises. And this morning, we watched 3 butterflies emerge. Coolest experience ever. And for those that know me well, butterflies have such a significant meaning to me because the week that my dad passed, he got me a butterfly purse, and the owner of his company sent it to me in conjunction with the last text he ever sent me was of her daughter pregnant with her 3rd kid. And then we ended up with Shay. So I wrote a blog post on it. If you believe in a higher power, this is like the sign of all signs. And on a dark day like today would have been, there's a lot of light. And I hope the same goes for you if you have any loved ones that have transitioned on. With that being said, let's find our comfortable seat to begin. Closing the eyes, maybe taking the shoulders up by your ears and back and down. Palms facing up anywhere on your lap or your knees. And just connect. Quieting the mind, starting to observe the thoughts. And we're going to use our good to be alive breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you bring your hands into heart center, any of the themes that we've talked about previously, whether it's the loyalty, whether you want to honor, dedicate your practice to a father figure, this is your time to carve out why you got on your mat. What is it for? How do you want to feel? Who do you want to dedicate it to? When you're ready, gently open the eyes. Release these prayer hands all the way up, whatever is bigger in your life. And then exhale, arms by your side. Good. We're going to start on our backs today. So let's go ahead and lie down into a conscious resting pose. Soles of the feet will stay on the mat. Knees are going to stay bent. And then I'd like, if you can, open the feet as wide as your mat and let your knees touch each other. And then just open your arms out like a cactus or goalpost. So you're going to feel like your spine's elongating. The tailbone roots forward, chin is slightly tucked, so the spine is nice and long. Just taking 3 cleansing breaths. And then take the knees into your belly. Gently rock side to side. Gentle spinal twist. So your arms are going to open out like a letter T. And let your knees fall to the right. Turn your head to the left. We'll go deeper in our spinal twisting at the end of practice. So don't worry too much about going extreme here. I want it to be really passive and gentle. Just awaken the digestive system. We're going to have some bagels and lox in honor of my dad. It was a Sunday tradition for us, always. From when I was a little girl to when he became a grandpa. Good. And then release. Let your knees come back to center. Just let them gently fall to the left. If you want, left hand could come on top of the thigh. Right shoulder head melts down. Turning your head to the right. And allow this to really just be soft and effortless. In every other form of exercise that you do besides the yin, it's repetitive motion. So we really want to hone in here on being soft and treating ourselves gently. It's going to benefit every other activity that you do off your mat. Good. Knees back to center. Now let your left leg go extended on the mat. Draw the right knee in. You can lace your fingers on top of your shin and then draw that knee towards the armpit. You can rotate the ankle a couple times in a circle and take it counterclockwise. And then we're going to find a one-leg happy baby today. So the sole of the foot is going to reach up towards the sky. Some of you could reach for the foot with both hands. Some of you kind of is far away, so you can just hold on to your calf muscle. If you have a strap, you can actually lace it around the ball of your foot, and then you can draw that knee towards the earth. So in the yin version, okay, it doesn't need to be extreme, meaning you don't have to have perfect alignment. So see what it feels like maybe to bend the left knee and take the foot on the ground. Maybe you get a deeper stretch. Now it's up to you. You can continue holding on with both hands, or you can let your left hand come off to the side. Some people like to put it on top of the left hip to kind of anchor it. So I want you to explore, and then after the first few breaths, find the one that works best today. You hear me often reminding you that every time we roll out our mat, it's a brand new experience. There will never, ever, ever be an identical class. Because even if you had the same music, the same teacher, same clothes on, everything would have impacted differently because think about it. How you slept the night before, what stresses are occurring in your life, right? How's the physical body or exercise? So a lot of factors, the environment, even time. So as long as you're feeling this stretch where you could wave your hand over it, like in a particular location, if I asked you to describe it to me, that means that you're getting that juicy stretch. As you know, it's the connective tissue in the fascia. So it's much deeper than muscular energy. We actually want to relax the muscles, keeping them cold in yin. And that's going to give us the depth, peeling back the outer layers and honing into the area that's holding on to tension. So let's take 3 more breaths, shall we? Long, slow, deep. Slow exhale. Two more. Now to exit, if you did bend the left knee, I recommend straightening that leg. Close the knee in on the right side to the midline. And then maybe extend the leg up as you slowly float it down. Once the heel touches down, the toes can open and you'll notice a difference between the right and left. Sometimes my fingers will release tension, even the bicep, just from holding that leg. So just let it all clear, and then we'll do the other side. Hugging the left knee in. Again, lace the fingers, and then start to open the hip by drawing the knee towards the armpit. The sole of the foot then faces up towards the ceiling. And then maybe you reach for the foot. It could be the heel, it could be the calf. See how it works with bending the right knee, foot on the earth. Some of you, that may help the left knee come all the way down. The right sits bone might come up. You might prefer keeping the hip grounded with your hands and only holding onto the left foot with the left hand or strap. So first few breaths we explore, and then we pick the variation that works. Intensity is fine. We just don't want pain. So I want to let you know that I receive every single message of yours. Some of you are sharing with me that your families take this class across the nation, and it's so cool. It's like a commonality that even though distance separates you, that you're still connected. So if you ever feel like sharing with me any way that the class helps you, or even comments and feedback, I appreciate it so much. Even taking requests, right? Like something that you want to learn or work on. I'm an open book if you haven't caught that by now. And if I don't know the answer, we'll figure it out together. So by now, this is the part of the pose where you usually want out, and know that it's fine to take breaks. But knowing that it's temporary sometimes is all you need to be reminded that it will pass. So finish up 3 more cycles, pumping loads of oxygen with your inhale. And then slowly emptying out. It's almost like a sigh. 2 more. So if the right knee was bent, you can extend that leg straight. And then close that left knee back to the midline. So we close off the hip. Maybe extend the leg up. And then slowly, almost like you're going against a current in water, you resist and float the left leg down. Once the heel touches, toes out, heels in, just relax. Soften the face, the shoulders, the glutes. And then 1 more. Let's draw the knees in. We'll take full expression this time. So now, soles of the feet up, knees towards the armpits. Nice long tailbone. So maybe tuck the chin slightly. And if the sitting bones lift up, try to root the tailbone down, and maybe don't reach for the feet, but rather sides of the ankle, calf. So it's up to you. In Yin, I kind of like it with my hands on the heels. It gives me just that right amount of traction. Relaxing the shoulders down. And just finding the balance, right? Don't worry about toes engaged. Give yourself permission to be formless. There are glimpses that you might catch where you don't even recognize the outer layers of the physical body into the air. We feel Sushumna rise. So something else that my dad passed on to me is he always had these like daily lists of things that he wanted to accomplish. And even with technology, I'll put in the important dates in my iPhone, right, in the calendar. But when it comes to my daily list, I love writing down what I plan to do each day. And there's no greater satisfaction than crossing it off or putting that check next to it, right? It's a great way to manifest what you want to accomplish. So old school, I take out my pad, I take out the pen. And maybe you want to do this for each week so it's not as extreme, and that's fine. But if you're one of those people too, let me know. I love that. I love hearing that. So let's take 3 more breaths. And then to exit, we'll close the knees in. And you can plant your feet down and then just slide the legs forward. Feels nice to let that all go. Whatever tension the body was holding on to, you can know what it is or you don't even need to. If it's not beneficial, why hold on to it, right? So let's take the knees into the belly, and now let's take your hand on each knee and just draw some circles. Starting to notice that the hip joints are moving more fluidly. Once you do 3, you can reverse. And we're going to rock and roll for the first time. So hands behind the knees on the backs of your thighs. You could do it one time and come all the way up. Or you could do it a couple times. It's kind of nice on the spine. We'll come up to a seated position. Okay, so fair warning, some of you love this next pose and some of you are not fans. It's a half hero pose, but we're gonna change the leg. Instead of extending it out, we're gonna have half butterfly. So to come into it, you can come into butterfly, soles of the feet together, and then you can lean over to the left. And unlike deer pose where we get that 90-degree angle with the right leg, I actually want you to think of a hero leg. So ideally, the top of your foot, right, is on the mat. You can support it with like a blanket or towel. If it hurts, just bring your foot out to the side. Okay, so it's like a half butterfly, half heroes. And then from here, we're going to just fold forward. You can come to your forearms. You can use a block. Some of you, if this left knee is up high, place your prop underneath it. And we're just going to explore forward, and then we're going to explore going back. For those who have always done this pose with the left leg extended, you might find this pose more tolerable. And it's actually giving you a couple different benefits. Depending on, again, where you hold tension, you could feel it in the left outer hip. You could feel it in places of your spine. And when we go back, hopefully you're going to feel it in your right quadricep. It's kind of sweet. You can even play going over to the left and maybe spending 2-3 breaths on that side. And then you can come back to the center and take it over to the right. Just see what you discover there. Maybe stretching out the lower part of your back on the left side. We just hold on to the mindset here that there's no right or wrong. It just is. It's a yoga pose that you're doing. You're not really putting effort in. You're just being in it, right? Maybe finding your way back to center. 3 more breaths and we'll take it back. You can make a little pillow for your forehead if you come down. And if the knees are not liking this, know that you can keep the leg extended. We never want to cause compression where it's bone on bone, because there's nothing we can do. We just have to accept that, right? But when it's the tension, that's what we can breathe through, stretch through, and work through. So compression you'd point to, right? Tension, you wave your hand around. I always remembered that from my Yin Yoga teacher, Joe Barnett. He works with Paul Grilly. All right, so let's start to walk the torso back up, stack the vertebrae. And now we're going to try to recline back, right? So some of you will just bring your hands behind and that's enough. If you've got your block nearby, maybe put it behind you so that maybe you can lie your upper back down. And then some of you don't even need the block, right? Put it to the side, maybe grab opposite elbows. So now the stretch for me moved totally out of the left side of my body and I'm only feeling it in the right side. So we're taking the poses and the shapes and we're just shifting a little bit of the orientation of our body weight. Exploring new sensation. Maybe reflecting back in this moment to one of your favorite childhood memories with that father figure of yours. I know for some people, it wasn't their biological father, right? It could have been a grandparent or another mom, a godfather, stepfather. See what comes to mind. I loved going to staycations and family trips. That's where I have my most fond memories, specifically Marco Island. I haven't been back there in years and I really want to go this summer. All right, we're going to slowly transition. So however you entered is how you'll rewind back. So if you're on your back, it's your forearms. You can move your block to the side, then hands. And then let's lie all the way back as we extend the legs before we do side two. So you can use your forearms to help you come down until your shoulders, neck, and head find the mat. So let all that go, no drama. It's a past. I want to say in a matter of 30 seconds for most people, sometimes up to a minute, you can actually feel the discomfort leaving your body. It's kind of cool to witness and slow down. When we're in a hurry to get to the next place, you can miss it. So because we only have 45 minutes, I don't want to stay too long. But if you need an extra minute or two, join in when you're ready. We'll take the knees back in. You can side to side rock. You can do the hand circles on the knees. And then we'll come to seated. And then we'll do the other side. So remember, we'll come to butterfly first. And then you can lean over to the right. And we're going to take the left shin bone back. So it's a half hero leg. Okay? So maybe the foot comes out. Maybe you support it by patting it up. And then we'll just start to walk forward. Now, each side is going to give you different signs of what's enough, right? Some of you will be on your forearms, and that's okay. Some of you can melt down. The first few breaths, we stay centered, acknowledging where the stretch is being felt. The deeper you breathe, the more you will feel as well. So really long, slow, deep inhales. An open mouth, smooth exhales. So what's nice about, again, doing one side at a time, if we're always doing butterfly soles of the feet together, you may miss out on what side is feeling it more, right? Like right here, I'm really feeling it in my right outer hip. And then as you walk your arms over to the right, maybe for 2-3 breaths, see what happens. Does it give you a little more traction? Does the sensation completely shift? But just like you had a little wand that could clear away any blockages in the body. That's what we'll do. Maybe coming back to center and then taking it over to the left. Again, just awakening maybe the right side of the low back. Spine is twisted here. And if you like it, stay longer, right? You can meet back in center. Finishing out 2 more full cycles, really filling up the lungs. Once they're all the way filled, you can even hold on to that moment and then smoothly, slowly let the breath exit. And maybe at the very bottom when you're empty, hold on to that. And then do it again. Okay, so start to walk your hands in, stack your spine. We're going to go back before we get out, okay? So, level 1, hands behind you. Lean back, feel the stretch in the quad. My level 2s, forearms, block. Level 3, maybe all the way back. Grab opposite elbows. And for those that have been doing Yin with me for several years, I'd love to hear your feedback in these changes, right? Because the practice is always evolving. They say that when you master a pose, you're just beginning, because the meditation of where the mind goes, or how you can start to feel sensation again, right? There's no final destination in yoga. I want to also point out, at this point of class, every single pose that we've done has had your knees bent. Okay, so it's really healthy for the joints to take the knees in all different ranges. But that's all part of the sequencing. So should at any time you need to extend the leg straight, I'm going to give you that pose once we finish out here. Know that you always have the choice. Okay, last 2 cycles. Okay, remember on the transition, we're going to come out the same way we came in. Leaning over to the right, extend left leg, extend right leg. Sometimes it feels good to like windshield wiper the feet or point and flex the toes, especially after we've been on top of that foot. And then meet in Shavasana, reset. Legs extended, feel yummy. So the good news is we're done with our hip series. We're just going to finish out with a forward fold to really get that extension through. We'll open the shoulders and then we'll do our deeper spinal twists. So that's what's coming. But you get to just absorb the bliss right here, right now. Let me do the thinking for you. You want your body to just feel like jello and mush, right? Soft. And take the knees into the chest when you're ready, and then move in a way that feels right. And then we're just going to roll up one more time. And this time we're going to extend the legs forward. With the caterpillar, extend. Now from here, you can keep your feet together or you could do hips distance. I don't even mind if you go as wide as your mat, just not opening the hips again. Maybe you move flesh from the sits bones back so the pelvis is tilting forward. Now if the hammies are really tight, just soften your knees here. And we're going to fold. Fine to have a rounded back, fine to have rounded shoulders. Soften the toes. Even if you can reach for your feet, see if you can allow the ego to be pushed to the side. Maybe bring your arms in front of, palms facing up. Almost like you can offer something up. So some of you will feel this in the spine if the hamstrings are really opening. And vice versa, if the hamstrings are tight, your fold might only really look like something like this, right? Where the spine is kind of upright, but the chin tucks, and that's fine. Eventually, as we breathe, as we work with gravity, we're going to find a little more space. This was one of the poses when I first began the yin practice that I had my eyes closed. I was doing the mantra work, watching the breathing. And I remember when it was time to exit out, I opened my eyes and my head was like almost on the floor and I couldn't believe it. And in that moment, it was an aha for me because it really signified less can be more. Right? I have that type A personality. It started around college for me, where I wanted the best grades and the best sorority, and I wanted to be president of the Advertising and Public Relations Club, and I wanted to intern in New York and study abroad in Spain. Right? And from there, it just went on and on and on. But the yoga has helped surrender a lot of that control. So as becoming a mom, when you realize that the beauty, even through this quarantine, is really in the simplicity. A new appreciation for health, nature, family time. Lots of silver linings. So we're halfway through the hold. You may even realize you can walk your arms more forward. See also if you like how it would feel bringing the arms back, where the tops of your hands are just outside your hips, the shoulders dip, and maybe you round in a little deeper. Let the belly be soft, all the organs shifting to the front body. Creating space through the spine, the discs here. Now, if you do try the arm variation, you feel like it took you a little out of the stretch, know that you can always bring them back in front of you or even take them out to the sides of the legs. See if you can relax your tongue here. We'll stay for 3 more full cycles. Gradually stacking your shoulders above your hips. And then lie on your back, your way. Should feel really nice once everything has support. And you might even want to bend your knees again, come to that conscious resting. You can even walk your feet to the edges of your mat, kind of like we did at the start, knees cave in. Left hand on heart, right hand on belly. Neutralize the spine. It's kind of nice when you do it this way because with the legs extended, it's almost like the inner arch for the low back, right? You can like slide your forearm underneath it, whereas here you kind of flatten it out. And then when you're ready, let's roll onto our stomachs. We're going to come into a shoulder opener. So we'll do a quick Sphinx pose just as a counter stretch. We're not going to spend too much time here because I want to close with the 2 poses I was telling you about. So once we kind of let the spine go the opposite way, almost like a slinky down the stairs, we're going to take our right palm, turn it up, thread it under left, and then scoot your right shoulder down and see if you could rest your chin or your forehead towards the mat. You can put a block underneath it too. So for some of you, this is plenty. If you want a little more, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see, because I know this cue is a little confusing. So instead of having your legs straight, you keep the legs on the floor, but you slide your knee to the right side, and then the foot goes inside the left leg. So it's like a tree pose, but on the floor, right? And that may make the intensity on this right shoulder a little more extreme. Sometimes you try it and it feels better with the leg straight. Just do the one that works. As long as the top of the right shoulder is feeling a stretch, you know that you're getting the benefits. So when you breathe in, you're almost like you could feel like a balloon was expanding into the floor. And then when you contract, exhale, it like flattens it out, yeah? Now if you did take the right knee out, go ahead and straighten it back. And now everybody is going to slide the left knee up towards the right forearm. Take the left arm up and let the arm and shoulder open back. So you feel this beautiful heart opener. It's a spinal twist where the legs are on the earth, but the chest is facing up. It's a good moment. Enjoy it for a sweet breath. Empty out the lungs. And then let this left palm float back into the right palm. Straighten the leg, roll onto the belly, left ear cheek to the mat, look right, and let both arms come by your side, palms face up. Let that go. Okay, side two, Sphinx pose to set up. Left palm up, thread the needle. So we do this a lot, right? We do this on all fours, we do this in child's pose, but there's a little deeper stretch when you're on your torso, right? Where the hips are on the ground. The axis of the body receiving stretch. So if the left shoulder creeps up, down and away, right arm could stay extended. Now if you want more, you slide your left knee to the left, and the foot stays inside that right leg. This is one of those poses that, like, no matter what, the cueing could be so precise, but by now our brains are kind of just like chilling, and we have to really concentrate and think. But what's cool with video is you guys get to see, right? Usually when I teach Yin, I don't do the practice with you. I just cue it. But I've gotten a lot of good feedback on how watching actually has been helpful, especially in vinyasa where you're getting into the more challenging poses. So top of that left shoulder, this feminine side to us. Just receiving love, taking in trust and health. With every exhale, eliminating fear, sickness, and worry. 2 more breaths. Remember, inhale, belly expands. Exhale, draw in. Final. So everyone extends that left leg back. Now we're going to take this right knee, scooch it up to the left forearm. Right arm reaches up and then let it fall back and open. And then instead of transitioning the way we did, all I want you to do is lie yourself on your back. So let that right shoulder and right hip come down. Let's draw the knees in. So this is where we're going to take our deeper spinal twist. So it's up to you. You're going to cross your left knee over right and cross at the knee. So it's almost like a Gomukhasana. And then you could take it even into eagle if you want, right? So some of you who have long legs can tuck these left toes behind the right calf. Arms are going to open out and just let your knees gently fall to the right. So one thing to mention is the higher the knees are to the forearm, the deeper the stretch. But you've got the traction with the legs kind of interwoven like this. Left shoulder down, head looks left. Here, getting a nice stretch in the chest as well, the pecs. Just one more full cycle for time purposes. Really pump it in. And even when you think you're full, can you take in a little more air? And then same thing, slow exhale. And when you think you're very empty, let go of that last little bit, stale energy. Head through center, knees through center. So before we go to the other side, let's just uncross, conscious resting. Both hands on belly. This is the solar plexus. And a lot of the way that we were raised lies here, as well as the lower chakras. So feel grounded and safe and accepted. And then take the knees in, right over left. So remember, Gomukhasana, the knees are stacked. If you want eagle, right, left or right toes under left calf. It's like a double wrap. Arms out. If you want a little more, you can put your foot down, scooch your hips to the right, and then let the knees fall to that left forearm. And you'll see the right shoulder really picks up. That's okay for yin. Okay, if it feels better, you can ground it. The knees then may not touch down. But as long as the shoulders are open towards the sky, right, and then the hips face opposite, perpendicular, the spine is getting this beautiful and deep twist. One more breath. Empty. Everything returns to the midline. Uncross. And then we have to end in butterfly, right? So draw the knees in one last time. Soles of the feet together. Release them onto the earth. And then yogi's choice for arm variation. You can have your hands on your hips or thighs. You could goalpost goddess. My personal favorite is letting the fingers gently touch just above the head like an infinity sign. And I'm so grateful that I got the signs today that I needed to, so that on a day that would typically be dark for me, with this broken piece of my heart that's irreplaceable, somehow there's light that just fills it up. Start to soften the areas around your eyes, your cheekbones, and your jaw. Separate your teeth. Relax your tongue. Soften the toes and fingers. And just be. Staying here as long as you wish, or sliding the legs straight, allowing the arms to come down just outside the torso. Coming into your final relaxation, your Shavasana. Your own time, start to reawaken. Deepening the breath, movement through the body. And then we'll meet in seated. Take your time. Hands at heart center. Take this moment to reflect back to the intention or dedication that you set. And know with certainty, when you're loyal, when you honor who you are and share your gifts for the world, the universe will have your back. The signs are all around you. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy celebrating, and namaste.